Hi guys, and today we're checking out the all-new 2017 Honda CR-V. And yes, this is all new. In fact, it's based on the platform of the current 10th generation Honda Civic. Now let's first of all turn this on because it's a bit hot outside, so let's get the AC running. Starter button, and there you go, there it is starting up, and you can see the screen comes on there. Fasten seatbelt, I will when I get going. And look, Honda rises above the earth, isn't that nice? So let's just press the OK on that. So what you're thinking probably is, how can they base an SUV on the platform of a compact saloon? Well, let me tell you, the Honda Civic actually is longer than this car and nearly as wide. And having said that, on the other hand, compared to previous CR-Vs, this thing is big. In fact, this is the biggest CR-V so far, and it certainly feels it even from behind the wheel. It has a 40mm longer wheelbase, and I'll show you where all of that, or most of that, has gone in the back in a minute. But overall, it's 58mm longer, and it's 35mm wider than the last CR-V. It's also 25mm taller if you get the two-wheel drive version. If you get the four-wheel drive, it's 35mm taller. The track is also widened. So the front track is 18mm wider and the rear track is 33mm wider. That's supposed to also help the handling and the stability on the road. Some of this may come as a surprise to you because you're probably looking at the car and thinking, hang on, it looks pretty much the same, it's just a facelift, is it? No. This is definitely an all-new car. And also look at the styling more carefully, because you see the front headlights, they come further into the profile, and certainly the rear taillights are much more pronounced. Look at the more pronounced waistline, for example. That certainly gives it a meaty, more muscular presence on the road, especially combined with that tapered and slightly flared rear wheel arches as well. At the front, you still has that Honda CR-V underbite, you know, it does that thing with the lower jaw, which I've never quite liked, you know, a bit like a boxer, or a bit like Bruce Forsyth, if you know who that is. But it still has that, but it has a tighter, sharper arrangement when it comes to the headlights and the grille, and it has a little bit of a smiley thing going on the front, so that's quite nice. So it's got aggression with friendliness sort of thing going on there. It's a good-looking saloon, good-looking SUV, with reasonable presence, and yet a comforting familiarity about it if you know your CR-Vs, and I think that's what they've gone for. And talking of familiarity, it still also has a 2.4 litre four-cylinder engine, but this is not the same 2.4 that was in the previous car. This is what Honda calls the Earth Dreams unit. It's a direct injection unit, which is why you may have heard it rattling a little bit when it started, because they all do that, even the VW ones do that. And you get 184 brake horsepower with this car, and 180 pounds-foot of torque from 3,900 RPM, but it's mated to a CVT. Anyway, but sadly, we don't get the more sophisticated, more powerful and newer 1.5 litre turbo that they do in the States. Well, at least not yet, so never say never. So have the prices also expanded along with the car? Well, a little. It starts with the base model, which is a two-wheel drive LX at 89,900 dirhams, which is about $25,000, and it goes up to another two-wheel drive, which is the LX Plus, and that's at 99,900, which is $27,000. For four-wheel drive, you get the next model up, which is actually the EX Plus at 113,900 dirhams, which is $31,000, and you get this one, which is the range topper. They always give journalists a range topper, which is the touring model, and this is 125,900, which is $34,000. Bit much, hey? But to be fair, even the base model CR-V, that entry-level car, will come with cruise control and a rear camera, plus a 5-inch center screen, and of course ABS, traction control, hill start. However, it only gets a 4-speaker stereo and just one USB plug, I believe. As you go up the trim levels, of course, the spec levels get better. And with the four-wheel drives, with the EX and the Touring, you do get a lane watch, which I'll show you what that is in a minute. And you get this larger 7-inch screen that we have on this. It's a touch screen, of course. USB plugs, plural, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. An 8-speaker stereo, which is rather nice. Plus dual-zone AC on the EX, and multi-zone on this Touring, which is actually, the AC is very good. It's very hot at the moment, so that's a bit of a godsend to have that. And of course, by the way, you can see leather upholstery standard on this car as well. They also get 18-inch alloys. Now, The CRV is America's best-selling SUV, and practicality is a key thing and very, very important. We'll have a look more closely at the front and also the space in the rear cabin, but let's first check out the boot. So here we go, let's open it from here. It's a powered tailgate now on this thing. Don't know why it's in that triple beep. What is this thing? This is just the emergency pack that they put in here. So you get things like the reflective triangle fire extinguisher, first aid kit, and a torch. So back here we've got quite a bit of space, as you can imagine. A little cavity on this side and a light on each side, in addition to this handle here. This handle, what it does basically, you can see, is a 60-40 split folding rear seats, and if I pull this handle, then this should happen. There you go. And it's pretty much nearly a flat loading space there. Now, do we have much more space underneath here? Let's see. Let's open this up. You get virtually a full-size spare wheel in there, and a sort of weird carpeted sort of interior, but not much more storage space. No, not unless you can put stuff in the middle of the wheel itself, which you probably could. A few squishy, well, maybe one squishy bag or so. So, you remember that 40mm extra space in the wheelbase I was talking about? Where did it go? Check it out. Look at the space in the back of this CRV. I mean, I am well over 6 foot, 6'2", and as usual, this front seat is the driver's seat. It is set for me. So that is actually set for me. Look at this. Look, I'm not just sitting here bolt upright. The seat's actually a bit reclined, and my knees aren't crunched up. I'm actually stretching out. I am literally stretching out here, and I've got wiggle room for my feet down there. I've got no problem with my knees touching the seat back at all. Even the shins, it's got quite a soft bit here, and it's nicely shaped, so even that is well thought out. So that is extraordinary. I'm actually very impressed with that. This is a lot of room in here, and it's very airy, very spacious, and the kids will just love it, you know. There's a lot of room back here. Nice trim here, a bit of trim, which is a touring spec, so you got that. You got little tweeters, little leather down there, little pockets in the door, including for a water bottle as well. For your jacket, you got a little hook up here. That's good. Do you get USBs? Well, yes, in this spec, of course you do. I think it's only the base spec that only gets one, but here you get two of them. Look, check it out. There they are. We love our USBs in the back, and there's two of them right there. And talking of twos, there's two rear AC vents as well, so that's quite handy. Do we get two cup holders? Let's have a look. Yes, we do get two cup holders. Isn't that great? Ooh. But honestly speaking, all joking aside, this is actually very impressive for a CRV. Right, so let's see what we've got here in the front. Well, you know, we've got a lot of familiarity. I do like this screen, though, this instrument panel. I like the way they've done that. You can, of course, just change the information from this button here. So you've got fuel consumption at the moment. 10.2 litres I've been doing, although I've been a bit heavy-handed with it. So to be fair, I think you'd probably get about 8 to 9 on it realistically in daily driving. And you can go through, like, you know, so your fuel and your trip computers, navigation, and this one also has a driver attentiveness monitor, so it just keeps an eye on you, see if you're getting tired. I don't know how it does that. It's a bit of a nanny, really. What else we got? And it gives you front rear distribution on your four-wheel drive, tell you how much you're using, so that's quite handy if you're going to off-road this, which you probably won't because it's a CRV, not a Prado. Anyway, as your music as well. And the only thing I would say is that here, for the fuel, if you can see it, you just get, instead of getting a lit bar to show you how much fuel there is, you just get that one line. So you can just see that one line there, and I find that at first glance that's a bit confusing to use. Same goes for the temperature gauge here. This is a bit blank on this side. That's for your cruise control, and this plastic looks a bit blank, which is a bit of a shame. Over here you've got this, and this is a volume control, which is both a toggle, so you can do that, but also you just slide your finger along there, and it turns the volume up and down. And I quite like that. That's one of the nicer features on here. And actually, it's gone up, hasn't it? See, the volume's gone up. So you got your opening for the rear and your parking sensors, traction control down there. This has got an automatic handbrake, so you don't have to bother with that anymore. I forget to use handbrakes on older cars now because so many modern cars just have e-brakes, don't they? Big screen, as I said, will just go. I mean, it's a Honda system. If you're familiar with it, it's not the best. It's okay. It's not too bad. It's all the usual, Bluetooth up and all the rest of it. I won't go into too much detail. There's nothing particularly fancy there. You climate, you get your climate control there, and all of that sort of stuff. There's your buttons down there for your climate control. Transmission, this is just to get even more fuel economy should you want it, but it turns the AC down, so no, I'm not touching that. Now this stuff here is quite good. This whole center stack arrangement here is quite good. You get a little tray there, and you get a power supply there. You get your 2 cup holders there, and then you get this cubby box. You open the cubby box, and you get quite a deep thing in there, or so you think, because actually you can either remove this bit altogether, or you can slide it back, or you can just take it out, like I said, and you get the full tray. And then down here you've got another power supply, and you've got 2 USBs, and you've got HDMI. I don't know why you got HDMI, because there's no like entertainment screen or anything, but there's an HDMI in there as well. But I do like this arrangement, and it does give you some options there. Seats are nice and comfortable. They're very nicely upholstered as well, as you can see on this particular car. Adjustable headrest, good all-round visibility. In fact, I think it's time we took it for a short drive and see how it is on the road. Right then, let's give it some dreams. See what I did there? Give it some beans. Dreams? No, never mind. So we are on the road, and let's go. It's a slow build up, but oh, it gets going. It gets going. Now it's interesting when you do the flat on the floor acceleration. You can see the CVT just it just does that. However, as you're driving it normally, it does have artificial step changes, so it does mimic the change of gear as a normal automatic would do. It's just that when you do that full, I don't know why it does that. Even I've done that in sport as well. It does the same thing. When you do the full bore acceleration, it just drones on, which is the thing about the CVTs that I really don't like. So chucking it into the corner here first. Wider track, my bag's flying around the back, so clearly grip, little bit of body roll as you'd expect. It's quite a soft and mushy suspension, if you like. Not mushy necessarily in a bad way, but quite pliant, and I suppose it's for comfort, isn't it? They've designed it for comfort. They've designed it for the American market, if you think about it. It's capable of doing a lot of miles, a lot of motorway with the people sitting in the back and the front, you know, nice, comfortably riding along and not feeling too, you know, bone shaken or anything like that. So it does reasonably well. The ride is actually quite nice, although, you know, the body control is not quite what it used to be. You know, I had a Mark II Honda CRV, and that felt pretty damn solid. And also quite entertaining to drive. Now this one, again, it's very competent to drive, and the all-wheel drive grip is certainly there. And you know, and it is chuckable as well. There is understeer, of course there is. You do get the understeer when you throw it into a corner, that's for sure. But also, like, if you do at reasonable speed, you get quite a bit of a neutral attitude about it as well. And just put that down there. But overall, though, it's a competent handling machine, not a sporty machine. I mean, again, just going around here, very grippy, relatively neutral, you know. I mean, and even on acceleration, you get a little bit of run wide, but you can just control it with the steering, and it's fine. So very, very good in that sense. Not bad handling at all for this sort of car. Performance, as you've seen, could be better, but it's competent enough. I reckon 0 to 100 is about 8 seconds, just fractionally over 8 seconds, I would guess. I haven't timed it, I'm just guessing. I believe the 1.5 litre turbo has been clocked at just under 7.5, so that's a bit quicker. But overall, it's a competent drive, and really, but you don't really care about the performance and stuff like that. What you care about, ease of controls. Very light, easy steering, good brakes. It's got electronic brake booster rather than servo assistant, as normally is the case. But very solid, very reassuring, quite progressive. Steering is very, very light, not too light, but reasonably light. But quite responsive, and you know, it's more about maneuverability and handling, and that is what you get with this car. Visibility is good all around. It's got this lane watch keep. Now I should have actually shown you on the, maybe I'll put an insert in later, but basically when I indicate right, I don't know if you can see it on that camera, this screen will come on here, and there's a camera in that rear view mirror over there, and that shows me the side of the car on this side. Doesn't do it on this side because I'm on this side, so I should be able to look over my shoulder if you think about it, but on that side it does it. How good is that? Honestly, I don't use it. I don't look at it. I just find that very distracting. I'd rather just look out the mirror or look over my shoulder. I find that a lot easier. So I really don't, I would, you know, and I think you get either that or blind spot sensors. I'd rather have the blind spot sensors, honestly. So yeah, that I'm not too sure about, but they introduced that in the previous generation, or the current generation Accord when they launched it. So that's been out a while actually with Hondas, so it's not a new surprise. But talking to driver features, there aren't as many in this car as a lot of modern cars are getting park assist and all this sort of stuff. This one doesn't really have much of that. You know, it's pretty much analog. It's pretty much all, you know, as you'd expect, which I suppose it's a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing because personally I hate all of those driver's aid systems, and I tend to try and switch them all off anyway, and they beep and bong and all the rest of it. They're just annoying. But a bad thing because if you look at its competition in the market, if you look at the spec that rivals are getting, you know, self-parking and all this sort of stuff, self-braking, radar cruise control, this doesn't have any of that, then maybe it's missing out a little bit. And if you're paying, you know, what, 126,000 dirhams for this top spec car, then maybe you might have wanted some of those toys. Personally, I'm quite happy without them, but I'm just saying that spec to spec, it's something that Honda might want to look at. The other thing, of course, is that there are no surprise and delight features really, because they've also missed that stuff out. I remember, again, going back to the Mark II CRV that I owned for a very long time, only recently sold in fact. You know, there were some nice features, the nice touches. For example, the handbrake was molded into the dashboard and actually looked like just a strut in the dashboard until you pulled it and you realized actually it was a handbrake. That's quite interesting. The center bit here was a walk-through area with a table, and the table, with a quick flip of the handle, you could fold it down and it would just clear up. So that was quite handy, with a load of compartments hidden in the central console. In the back, the floor of the luggage space was actually a picnic table. You could just pull it out of there and actually use it as a picnic table. And you think, how often would you do that? I actually did use it, maybe only 4 or 5 times during the ownership of the car over quite a number of years. But still, it's nice to know that it's there. And it's one of those things that Honda used to do. Funny, interesting, clever little touches that no other manufacturer would think of, and they would do it. So that's what this car is missing. But overall, I think it's a very good follow-up to what is a very popular SUV in this segment and in this market and in other, and well, as we know, in other markets. So I think it'll probably do really well, even despite you know, it's maybe not quite as competitively priced anymore as it used to be compared to what else you can get in the market. And I'm particularly looking at the Koreans, and now, let's be honest, even the Chinese. So that's where it faces its stiffest competition. But overall, good car. Do check it out. Hope you like the review. That's the verdict on the car. Thumbs up, pretty much. And do check us out, motoringme.com. Do follow us on all the social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please do like, share, and subscribe. That would be fantastic. You can also follow me, Shazad Sheikh, and I'll put some links and things over here. And if you like, you can follow me. You don't have to, but yeah, it would be nice if you did. I'd like to see you there. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next time.